If you've spent countless hours and dollars trying to grow your remodeling business and you feel like you're just not getting the returns that you're hoping for, well, I'm going to tell you right now, what's probably missing from your strategy is you, the business owner, on camera. That's it. Now, I know that might sound too simple, but hear me out. Because once we started doing this within our own remodeling business, we were able to triple our lead flow with qualified homeowners, generate over 7 figures in revenue, and today we're sitting at a 14.78x return on ad spend, meaning for nearly every $1 that we put into our marketing engine, we're generating roughly $15 back. So my name is Evan, and not only have we been using the same system within our own family remodeling business, but I've also been running a marketing agency for the past 6 years, and I've helped hundreds of other business owners scale with the same method. And in this video, I'm gonna explain why getting on camera is your greatest advantage over your competition, why so many remodeling contractors avoid doing it, and the specific types of content that actually generate new sales, including some real-life video examples of high-performing ads within our own business. So something we have to understand is that the market is just going to continue to get more competitive when it comes to marketing. And this is a common trend over the years. These different platforms like Google, YouTube, Facebook, they keep jacking up their costs. And I remember, I think it was like 6 years ago, we started running Google ads for our remodeling business. And at the time, I think our average cost per click for a term like kitchen remodeling was around $4 per click. And I don't think we realized how good we had it at the time. Now we're spending about 5 times the amount to get the same clicks. But that really leaves us as business owners and marketers with only 2 options, which is either we could A, keep spending more money and getting lesser returns year after year because we're following the crowd and doing what everyone else is doing, or B, we steer from that path and find a key differentiator that allows us to be unique, essentially. This is how we stand out and actually acquire clients profitably. So I kind of like to think about this as passing the torch from generations to generations. A lot of OG contractors are baby boomers, including my father, and these people didn't really grow up with the internet. So these business owners at the time got their clients really through networking and referrals. Then you see the torch being passed to Gen X and millennials. This is where the internet starts becoming more popular. Google AdWords, being a thing, ranking blog articles with SEO, perhaps some dabbling in social media as well. And then now we're in this era where there's a lot more Gen Z business owners, and these people are much more known for short form video content, a lot of personality driven content. And this is the current phase of our marketing. This is actually really good news as a business owner because now it's never been easier to stand out from everyone else rather than doing the same methods and trying to compete in a crowded market. So I'm sure you guys all know that local realtor or gym owner or restaurant owner where you've seen their reels go viral on Instagram or TikTok, where all of their content is very engaging and these people basically just blow up. Even people in other cities or states recognize the business owner. So this is really where I see the biggest opportunity in content and things that we've noticed big improvements with our business. Maybe you're not the most comfortable person on camera and you're thinking that this sounds horrible. You might be thinking, well, why do I have to show my face? I don't want to get on camera. I'm going to sound way too awkward, way too monotone, and I just don't have the right personality for it. And the truth is, if this were easy, everyone would do it. This is your exact moat to beat your competition. And I think one of the most common objections I hear is, well, Evan, why don't I just use AI to generate a fake video of myself or use stock photos or videos? But that's really not the way you want to think about this, because if you have access to AI and stock images and videos, well, that means your competition also has access to these things. Again, we want to differentiate ourselves and actually attract the qualified homeowners. And the only way you can do that is by being different. So here's what happened when we started implementing more of this personality-driven content with our social media and advertising. We noticed that we got more qualified leads because we're pre-building that trust. the more value and education that you could provide to your audience, the more your leads are going to feel like they already know you and ultimately just give you like fewer objections and make it easier to essentially sell them. We also notice a shorter sales cycle. So when you don't have content like this and people don't really know anything about you, it could take, as I'm sure you know, several weeks to potentially even months to essentially close. So we can definitely shorten that sales cycle by providing this type of content up front. The third key benefit that we noticed was nurturing people long term. So often we'll have people come into our funnel and many of these people aren't ready to pull the trigger on day one, but because we can stay in front of them with educational content, provide it in such a way that they feel like they have a connection with us. Now, let's say 2 months when they finally are ready to pull the trigger, they're going to remember our company and be much more likely to choose us because we were in front of their face for so long. So now I want to actually show you some real life examples and ideas so you can start scripting and get off on the right foot of what type of content actually works. So the very first piece of content that I recommend is some type of narrated walkthrough. So the first video ad that we actually ever did for my dad's company was within one of his jobs for a basement remodel, and we actually filmed the job during the stages. So we were only about 30% through, and it was definitely not like a visually appealing site, but this gave us an awesome opportunity for my father to just explain what was happening behind the scenes. So at this point, he would point to certain beams, talk about floor joists that were getting replaced. He would talk about how, this room is going to be converted into a entertainment/kids room. And that actually was really transparent. People could see now their own home through that perspective. It wasn't this like finished project, and that's very valuable to potential viewers. Now, the other type of content that I would recommend is doing some type of myth busting or frequently asked question content. So it was funny because I remember when we first started doing this, one of the issues we ran into is we don't have like a ton of finished products on a daily basis. If you think to your whole month of work going on, there's probably only one or maybe a couple days where you could actually get photos and videos of the remodel, of the finished thing. Most of the days are going to be just boring, like painting, maybe picking up materials. This gives you an excellent time to post some of these educational videos. This is where you just simply provide value. So, perfect example. We recently did a video talking about custom kitchen cabinetry and why that might not be the best option for homeowners. So my dad addressed how people could save money by going with a more traditional option. You could do something similar where maybe you talk about how to choose the right kitchen countertops. What are the pros and cons of granite versus marble versus quartz? This is an awesome way to kind of plug in those gaps when you don't have a lot of visually appealing things to make content about. And a third piece of content I would recommend to you guys is doing some type of trending piece of content. The simplest way to go about this is just search for basement remodeling or kitchen remodeling into the Instagram Explorer or TikTok search bar. And what you'll find is you'll notice a recurring theme of certain video ideas amongst multiple creators. If you see that same idea posted amongst different accounts, that's a good sign that it's trending. Right now, there's this trending content in the contractor space where one of the team members will hold a ruler up to one of the crew members, and the person has to lift up the ruler until they reach what they think is 12 inches. And yes, this has nothing really to do with the quality of your work, but this type of content can actually help humanize your brand. And believe it or not, this will influence people's decisions to purchase with you. So how do we actually start doing this? It's very easy for me to give you some overzealous goal of, okay, let's get 30 videos this month. We're going to do 15 following this topic, another 7 following this topic, and so on and so forth. But realistically, if you're not already doing this, it's going to be very hard to go from 0 to 100. I would much rather you guys pick a very small goal and just get some practice reps in. Even if you can only start, let's say 1 or 2 videos this week, and yes, they are going to suck. You might have to refilm them 2 or 3 times before you're somewhat comfortable with the way you sound, which, by the way, spoiler, will never be 100%. But this is how you get better. So the 3 things that I'll tell you is just commit, film, and then post. That's it. Do not overthink this, guys. This is not supposed to be some finished Hollywood product. We are trying to be transparent and just put something out there to humanize your brand. Now, once you guys get in the hang of recording videos, what becomes really cool about this is both your organic and paid marketing efforts feed each other. So if you guys have ever worked with a marketing company before, oftentimes these people will come with their own content, which is usually some type of AI or stock videos or photos. And their selling proposition to you as the business owner is, hey, you don't have to worry about any of the content. We already have that for you. Just sit back, relax, wait for the leads. But here's the thing that most agencies won't tell you. When you have your own content to work with, it actually makes your advertisements perform 3 times as well. And I can say this with confidence because we've tested this same exact thing using stock videos and photos versus our own content. And the difference is night and day. So when you're putting the hard work to get this content, you can post this organically on your social media, on your website, on your Google business profile. And it's also going to be very effective for your paid advertising on, let's say, Meta or Instagram or whichever platforms you guys want to spend money on. So they both feed into each other quite nicely. So this is the strategy that I recommend for all contractors. It's what I see the biggest opportunity in the market right now to even compete with those people that might have 200 Google reviews while you're only sitting at like 25. If you want to compete with those folks, this is your best, lowest hanging fruit. And as I mentioned, you want to be human with this. We're not trying to be perfect right off the bat. You just want to get in the habit of posting just 1 or 2 times a week, slowly ramp that up. Once you close your first sale, where you specifically have that person reference a video that you filmed, that is going to give you motivation to keep doing this, and you will eventually learn to love the process like we have. Now, if you guys found this helpful, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And also let me know in the comments below if you've played around with this and what type of results you've personally experienced. Now, if you would like a personalized plan in scaling your remodeling company, I'm going to leave a link in the bio that you could click to book a free call with myself. We'll see if our system makes sense for you and how we can ultimately work together. Other than that, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys for the next one.